Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Dot.
It's your girl, BD.
It's Foreign's the fiance.
And we are back. Today, we are covering a Channel 4 documentary called Feral Families. Feral? Is that how you say it? Feral.
Yeah.
Feral Families. And yeah, it's an interesting one. Interesting
My
in terms
worst
of
nightmare.
Right, that's what I mean. It's literally my worst nightmare. But yeah, so this Channel 4 documentary, it cuts between a few different families raising children in basically an unconventional way. And if this episode seems a bit higgy-hagger, if it seems all over the gaff, if it seems a bit weird, it's because that's how the documentary was. It was kind of just this family, then this family, then this family, then this family.
But then I do think it's worth watching. I'd say that.
I do think so. And also, I think that structure makes sense because they were literally showing us. I think it seems a bit more chaotic because of what was happening in each scene was chaotic, as opposed to the documentary not being well structured. I think it was. I think it was done well. And I think it was an interesting insight into the lives of others. It's so crazy because, like, these could be your neighbours. Like, you know, you just live in your own little social bubble and work bubble.
No, they couldn't be my neighbours.
They could. Because you just bought a house. What if next door there's some feral kids?
Nah, because
and
them say why
parents.
they couldn't. And what I'm going to say sounds very classist. But
oh, here we go.
No, because we've had this conversation, money begets money. You don't beget or begot money from raising your kids in that manner or from you even thinking that way. So if I'm in a moneyed environment, why would I be interacting with people who...
Okay,
that's the point.
Fine. But then
not
also...
yeah.
But
nothing
just
wrong
in life,
with them.
you encounter... Listen, I feel like, do you know what? And we'll get into this later. Part of me wants to be like, to each his own. But it's not to each his own when you're raising people to be members of society. It's not to each his own. Yeah. And that's basically... End of episode.
Yeah, that's in conclusion. But also in conclusion, they would never, like, at best, in fact, the things that you wouldn't even work with these people, because if you're working in a professional environment, you understand the importance of qualifications.
In any environment, even qualification, even in structure. Like, say you work in ASDA, yeah. Like, you need to get there at a certain time. You do what you need to do. You have responsibilities.
That's fair.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's boundaries that are set. There's rules you have to follow.
So I literally
as a functioning member of society,
I genuinely would not interact with these people. So no, I would never meet or know or be friends. The reason I
say neighbor is because you don't know, like that. Okay, let's get into the documentary because we've done a whole lot of talking. So the first family we meet are the Rawnsley family. They are it's very interesting to me. From what I can remember, these people are all up north. Now, I'm not trying to say anything about the Northerners. I'm not.
Speak.
But I'm just saying that, just bear in mind, these are all places up north, which is not London. So we're in Yorkshire, right? And we meet the Rawnsley family. They don't believe in rules. The mum's called Gemma. The dad's called Lewis. And they have not one, not two, but thousands. They have 7 children.
Anything over 2 kids is a million to me. So they have a million kids.
I think three, because there might have been an oops. And 3 I get, and you can still fit them in a normal car. But I think anything from 4 upwards, that's when the issues arise. But they have 7.
Because what are you doing with that 3rd kid? Like, what purpose do they serve?
You literally have a second sibling. And
hence, I know that what purpose...
Anyway, that one is my fave, so... Fuck y'all. There's 7 of them. Sorry, I'm just stammering because that's just so many lives to raise in this way.
Mouths to feed, heads to push out of your vagina.
Yeah.
Personalities to know, names to think of. Like... Fam, I even always say, like, I think 2 is the perfect for me because, like, I can love one and then another one comes and has some qualities that one didn't have. Then I love that person. By the time you're getting to, like, 3rd, 4th, I'm not looking for anything more. I have all the qualities I'm looking for.
I don't have any love left to give. Yeah.
Literally, that last one, I'm probably not even going to remember your name by the time we get to that 7th. Literally.
Yeah, these times you're going to end up having, like, 6 kids. You'll be like, oh.
Me.
I saw your tweet. Oh, I can't wait to get married so that I can have the most unprotected sex. You think that unprotected sex doesn't beget 6 kids?
Child, let me not say what I want to say, but all I know is that
Just say.
There's absolutely no way I would have 6 kids. Like, yeah.
Who is it that wants bare kids? Oh, it's Nicole that wants bare kids.
Yeah. She can, if I have more than 2, she can adopt the first one or the third one.
This is why I feel like if any, like when you have 3 kids, like what's one more? Do you know what I mean? Like say you had 3 kids, yeah, and I dropped my 2 off. What's the difference between 3 and 5? There's still just bare kids in your house. Do you know what I mean?
You'll know the difference between 3 and 5 when I call you saying there was an accident.
Girl, bye. So, yeah. So the first step in the Rawnsley house in terms of going against the grain is that they don't send their kids to school. And then at this point, they don't clarify whether they homeschool them instead. They just don't send them to school. And so Lewis is the dad. And Lewis is a very interesting somebody.
He's a weird guy. He's a weird person.
He seems like he's got a chip on his shoulder. But it's kind of like from what... Do you know what I mean?
He gives me like he could be a cult leader vibes.
Yeah. But then at the same time, he could also very much be indoctrinated into a cult.
Yeah.
I feel like he could very much be like, oh... This
reminds me of when Creed said, I've been in a lot of cults as both a leader and a follower. You make more money as a leader, but you have a lot of fun as a follower. Do you remember that bit?
Creed, yeah, I remember. And I believe both.
Yeah. Yeah, Creed was interesting.
So, yeah, Lewis, the dad, says this gives them...
independence, freedom, the ability to think for themselves, freedom to just go, yeah, you know what, I want to make this decision. I can do it because my parents are going to let me do it. Whether or not it's the right one might be like, they might do it and then realise, oh, I've hurt myself because I've decided to hit myself with a hammer.
He also says they learn from the decisions they make. But then the example that he gives is like, oh, you know, if they hit themselves with a hammer, you know, they learn that hurts and they don't do it again. And it's like, okay, but when you hit yourself with a hammer, that could be fatal. Like there's some lessons you don't need to learn. Like you are taught, like... you don't have to learn from doing.
Pinnacle of life. Like the pinnacle of life is not knowing not to like hurt
yourself
head with a hammer. Like what are you chatting about?
And it's like you make decisions every single day, in school, out of school. Like you not sending your child to school is not teaching them. In fact, you even removed a decision from them because you've not said, hey, do you want to go? Like you said, no, you're not. It's just so. It's like one of those people that really believes.
And kids, I'm sorry, but like. Yeah, I know we're all like, yeah, let's give kids autonomy and they have... No. Okay, no. Like, I'm your parent for a reason because I need to guide you through this life, okay?
So this is the thing. We get into this bit as well because basically Gemma, the mum, is a hairdresser, right? She works from home. So there's this bit where, like, their daughter... I think later on we find out her name is Pearl or something like
Pearl.
That. Yeah, Pearl. And so she asked if she can, like, shave her hair and Gemma's like, yeah, cool. And she's kind of like, you know, we've all been brought up to have ownership over our kids. You know, we don't allow them to have feelings and thoughts. And the thing with Gemma is that, like, I don't disagree with everything that she says during this documentary. Like, when she's like, oh, you know, we don't own our kids, like, they're individual people. I believe that kids should have autonomy. Like, they are individual people. They have thoughts, they have feelings, and they should be allowed to express them, right? However... I feel like they are also children. And it's not just like, oh, you're a child and that's why. It's you're a child and therefore do not have enough life experience or knowledge about these things to make these decisions on your own. That's why I am here, your guardian angel, aka parent, to help you along the road and guide you along the way so that you don't do dumb shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just free reign. Like, there's an in-between between being a dictator and just not doing shit. Like, so why provide them a roof over their head then? Just let them roam free.
Literally, if they want to sleep outside for one day, let them sleep outside. Exactly. If they want to go in the white van with the guy that gives out candy, then let them.
If they want to eat the mushrooms in the woods, let them eat the mushrooms in the woods then.
This babe had a nose piercing. She was like 7.
I
and two holes in her ears.
I was like...
I said, what are you talking about? And the thing is that, like... There's no obviously physically harm reason why she should... Actually, there is. Like, when you're a kid and you have all these piercings, you're running around, playing, doing this, doing that. You can easily get hurt. But second of all...
but then also, like, my ears were pierced as a child. Like, as a baby. My ears were pierced.
But second of all, I just feel like there's a stage and there's a season and there's a reason for everything. As a kid, you are not in the season or the reason to be piercing your nose, putting this in your ear, doing that. Yeah. Go to school, come back... Read your book, play with your friends, have fun.
Enjoy the fact that you're not paying bills.
Enjoy
like, that's literally your job.
Your youthful season. When you then get to the age of having life stress and whatever, you can pierce and get tattoos because you need an outlet for all the stress. What?
That's so funny.
Fam, I'm sorry, but fam, Like, nah.
Yeah, it's so wild. It's so wild. It's so wild. But yeah, so Gemma makes this point about her children having responsibilities and motor skills, yeah? And it's like, okay, you can have that and you can have an education. Like, I don't get why it has to be one or the other. Like, let's all live in unison here. Like, I understand you want your kids to, have responsibilities and cook for themselves. They can do that, but they can also go to school.
Yeah,
so that in the
one
future,
does not,
they can...
like...
I honestly, yeah, I was going to say this later on, but let me say it while it's in my mind. I feel like these parents, yeah, are not setting their kids up to be successful adults.
No.
It's almost like you really want them to depend on you forever, because all of this, and we get into loads of the other families later, loads of these things is like, for right now, they make sense because they're children. But when they grow up and they're adults, they're going to need you still because they can't fucking read and write, as we will see later on.
And that's what I feel like a lot of this is rooted in. There's not one of them that came out and said, like, I'd even understand if you're homeschooling and you're like following the curriculum and your kids are still taking the exams, but maybe they really just hated school. All of this just seems rooted in the parents' own selfishness. And
yes,
this
and
is
also
why they keep...
their whole trying to like, oh, I wish that as a kid, like, I hated school as a kid, so like I'm gonna not have my kid.
Literally, and this
like,
is
why did they hate school? Maybe if we focus on what did they hate about school, maybe you send them to a different school, maybe you homeschool them. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, it's such an overreaction. Which is why this particular family with 7 kids, I feel like they're trying to create some sort of cult or tribe.
Yeah,
because they keep having kids, literally their own island. And I even said this that later on, these kids are going to grow up to resent them. It's all fun and games now because
100%.
It's all fun and games now because you're
100%.
sitting at home whilst other people are going to school and you think you've won the lottery. By the time you get to 25 and you're literally so limited in the roles you can do because you can't fucking read
even
or write.
Before 25,
you have no school.
Your mates are going to be going to uni or doing apprenticeships or going into the workforce, yeah, and you're just going to be there. You can't even read and write. You're going to look at your parents like, why did you do... Like, for me, yeah, my parents didn't teach me any language other than English. I look at them and I'm like, bro, like, why did you not teach me Igbo? Why did you not? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you just speak to me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, how much more something that's going to limit your ability to even get a job, make money? Like,
literally, what if you decide one day you don't want to live the way they live, then you actually want to have money, you want to own businesses, you want to
fast track education.
You can't like, what are you gonna do? You don't even have a leg to stand on. Which route are you gonna take?
You don't,
because even to run a business, you have no education. Yeah, you can't read the contracts. You're being
you're signing. Yeah, it's wild. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. So the narrator tells us that there's been a 65% increase in parents deregistering their children from school, which is crazy. I mean, it sounds 65% sounds like a crazy number, but if maybe like 2 are deregistering every year, then it's just 65% more of that too. Do you get what I mean? So we don't know what the actual numbers are,
but
the fact that there's that much of an increase is wild. Yeah,
because this is the reason that America is the way it is, because too many people are homeschooled, so they're fucking stupid.
They're homeschooled, and then they say they go. What was I watching one time? The woman homeschooled, and she said that she takes them to the woods and they look at the different mushrooms and birds and.
That was also in the UK.
Was that in the UK?
Yeah, I know the documentary you're talking about. It was in the UK.
And I was like, okay. And so photosynthesis and Inco. What about that? So now we've moved on to the next family. We are in Salisbury with Jenna and her 3 sons. Now Jenna is in Salisbury. Gemma is in Yorkshire. So they are different families. Okay. So none of her kids go to school. Her husband works away. So basically, she's raising the kids. That man is.
He's checked out. He's checked out of the marriage. I can tell you.
He probably has a second family that goes to school.
Or maybe this is the second family and he has a real family. That man has checked out from the marriage.
Yeah. So Jenna tells us she's not really one for structure. She thinks that if a child feels loved and secure, nothing else matters. Now, I get that, yeah. And I understand that a child should feel loved and should feel secure. Those are important things. However, 2 things can be true, okay? I feel like for that child to be a functioning member of society, they need more than just to feel loved and secure. Like, everything else matters. Like, it's not just that's it, the end, and then that's it.
And
like,
you can fucking feel loved and secure whilst in school. Like, what are you talking about?
It's just kind of like you're not setting them up well for life. It's almost like you want them to depend on you forever and ever and ever, to need you. Because you're not giving them the skills that's going to mean that they can go forth and produce things, do things, be secure. How are they going to be financially secure when they don't have they're not doing anything?
Literally.
They're not doing anything. And I'm not saying that like everyone has to go to university and they all have to get a degree, but like GCSEs, do you know how many roles like you need like 5 A star to C GCSEs or whatever numbers they do now? Like, it's so crazy to me that you cannot see that. All they need is to be loved and secured. What? Ridiculous.
It's just a fried group of people.
Yeah. So let's get into Archie, because Archie is literally like all these kids, like the 7 kids, yeah. I think the eldest one in the other house, or maybe she's like 13. Yeah, 13. Archie's also 13, right? So she took him out of school when he was 7. Yeah, so he's been out of school for 6 years now, as he was struggling. Okay. So she tries to homeschool him. Good on her, yeah. She tries to homeschool him. But then she realizes that he's struggling with reading and writing. And so instead of, taking him to Kumon or whatever the fuck, yeah, she nurtures the stuff that he likes, like music. And I'm like, all right, cool, I understand that. But perhaps music could have been an outlet. So it's like, listen, let's firm this reading and writing lesson today. Let's get better at this. And then we can go and play the guitar. And then we can go and play the drums. And then we can go and do whatever. So the filmmaker asks him, like, if his reading age is the same as his age mates. And he's like, oh, no, he doesn't like reading and writing. And he doesn't need to because he can just speak into his phone. And so this is the thing, like, technology, yeah, is supposed to aid and make things easier for you. It's not to replace the skills that you're supposed to have. It's so wild.
For me, it's just like, I can't believe these parents can't see what a disservice they're doing to their kid. And like, what morals are you instilling in them? So like, when things are a bit tough,
that's it.
You're gonna like
quit.
Like, there were so many steps before pulling that child out of school, which should have been an option. You should have gotten them tested for like dyslexia, ADHD, any of the like things that could have been making them struggle with learning.
Why is he struggling?
Literally, so they could then get the help they need. Move schools. Like, there are parents who literally, I was talking to like one of our family friends, my auntie. And when I told her where I bought my house, she was like, oh, that's really, really good. Like, when you get married, you guys should try and live there because that area has like the best county for schools in the UK.
Parents know these things. Even literally, when like some girl I used to work with, she was looking to buy a house, and she was like she just got married, and she was like, oh, that's not really a good area for schools, or like, oh, if you live in this area, you're in catchment area for this school or for that school. Like, these are the things that you think about. Like, come on.
Their parents, can you imagine their parents that make their buying decisions of homes based on like where would be good for their kids to go to school, and your reaction to your son, your 6-year-old child struggling with school, is to pull them out. At 6 years old, what does that kid know at 6 years old? Of course they're going to
What kind of struggle are you struggling at 6?
Literally, nobody wanted to go to school at 6. None of us wanted to go to school. Like,
exactly.
In fact, ever. But it
even
was something
uni,
you did.
I didn't want to go.
Fam.
It's just crazy. It's just, and unless they're omitting this, but I don't see why they would, because including any information that like why maybe they tried this, they tried that, it didn't work, would only support why they've chosen to do that. They didn't say any of that. I'm just like, your child is 7. He doesn't like going to school. Is he being bullied? If so, speak to teachers, teach him how to fight, or move him to another school. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are options here. It's just so dramatic. It's drastic. It's like, I'm sure there were so many other steps you could have taken before you did this. And now you're here and we're judging you on our podcast. So we're back in Yorkshire with the Raunsleys. So they don't go to school, they go to the park. There's no bedtime, there's no rules. They can eat what they want when they want. It's like 10:40 on a Tuesday night and the kids are still up. They're eating ice cream. And again, the dad, Lewis, he makes this point that I kind of agree with, but it's like, again, there's no moderation. He's kind of like, as an adult, you can choose what you want to eat, so why can't kids? And I feel like, yes, children are human beings. Yes, children have likes, dislikes, preferences, whatever. However, as an adult, as a guardian, your job is to guide them. So maybe you say to them, okay, cool, we can have this for dinner or this for dinner. We can only have ice cream up until this time. Or, oh, you can only have ice cream if you've done your homework. Or you can, like, let it be that, okay, if you're so intent on them making decisions, yeah, give them options then. Let them decide from those options. Not just, hey.
But like, as an adult, you can have whatever you like, but you don't wake up in the morning and have ice cream for breakfast.
See,
like,
but
the
you
option
could.
exists.
But as an adult, you have the brain to know that doesn't make sense. And
so
children don't have
why would
that.
you then allow a kid who obviously doesn't have that life knowledge or the capacity to make that decision choose when,
or haven't paid for the fucking cavities that result in those decisions?
Like, do you remember when there was that huge debate on Twitter about how like it's cruel and like abusive, like to not allow your child to choose what they want to eat for dinner. And I was just like,
it's not abusive.
Some of you actually talk like you exist in... And the thing I've realised about social media is that it's not actually that people don't know what they're saying is bullshit. They know, but they want to come across a certain way, so they just chat knowing that they don't even live their truth. Because when
but then also sometimes people just really chat. Delusions of grandeur. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, rah, do you really believe this? Because if so,
no,
why am I arguing?
They don't. I don't believe they do, because there's no way, like, especially in this country, like with black parents as well, because most of the people I follow on social media, like on Twitter, are black.
We're all like first gen, second gen.
Literally first gen, second gen, yeah. A lot of our parents came to this country and worked long hours kind of thing and toiled to get to where they are. So I know for a fact your mum was not coming home every day and asking you, oh, what do you want to eat? My mum, I will proudly say this, my mum would cook on a Saturday for the week.
Yeah. And that's
She'll make plenty of stew and she'll say boil rice during the week. And that's that. That's what's 100%. In the fridge. If you don't want to eat it, you can go and eat toast. And it wasn't abusive. It was just the reality of the situation kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Nobody went to bed hungry. There was food in the fridge. If you didn't like that food, there was an option of bread or like noodles. And that was at the beginning and the end of it. She cooks 100%. For the week. Like, fam, nah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. But even if as a child you didn't like the fact that every day was rice and stew, yeah, and you think, okay, do you know what? I'm a parent. I want to do it differently. Fine, I can understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
However, give your children options. Maybe you make 1-2 meals. Maybe you say, okay, guys, we're going to have this and we're going to have this. What do you want today? What do you want tomorrow? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I agree with like treating children like they are human beings, yeah. But also they are still children, and that doesn't make them lesser than. It just means they don't have as much knowledge in life or experience. They haven't even been on earth that long.
Yeah, but also the everyday rice and stew is a valid lesson in this life, because sometimes life is really just everyday rice and stew.
Rice and stew. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I never complained about the rice and stew, you know.
That is the truth of like life. Sometimes in life you might want to like, and I mean this as a like euphemism, if that's the right word, for everything. Like sometimes in life you want something, but it's just not the time to have it, or you can't have it, and you have to deal with what you have in that moment
when you have it and make it work.
And these are lessons I think kids need to learn. I'm not saying that it's not nice to give kids options, and of course like when I'm older, if I have the capacity to do that, I will do that for my kids, but it's okay for them to understand that you don't have the capacity and you're doing
and also to learn compromise and to learn how to I 100% agree, because you can tell, like, I am of the belief that we are all who we are. Like we are all ourselves as children. And like you see it sometimes, like I see a lot of patience and a lot of variety in different types of people, yeah. And it's like you can just look at someone and be like, you were this kind of child, or you were that kind of child. It's like ultimately like we are who we are, and we're just bigger, but we're still children, like in our hearts. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, they're 10:40. And the thing is that like he you can tell that he's annoyed, because he's kind of like, 10:40 on a Tuesday and they're still up. Okay, but you're the parent. They don't have to be up. They're up because you're letting them be up. So what are you complaining about?
These kids are all going to have stunted growth. They're not sleeping well, not eating right. Like, God knows there's not enough fibre for them to be shitting. Like, they're all going to be stunted and...
Anyway, that's what I'm saying. Every time my brain goes... Anyway, it's not my business. It's my business because it's a part of society. And it's like, imagine your child goes to... Okay, they won't go to school with them, I guess, because they don't go to school. But imagine that's your neighbour, or your child comes into contact with this kind of child. I'm sorry, you cannot go and play at Archie's house. You can't do that. I'm so sorry about it. No, and Archie can't come here because his mum's not going to be happy that I didn't let him eat ice cream at 10:40.
Yeah.
So now we meet Finley, who is 12 and has sense, it seems. He is one of the Rawnsley kids, right? He reminds me of, did you watch Good Girls on Netflix?
Yeah.
Annie has a son who, like, has sense. And she's, like, the messed up mum, and he always has to, like, make sure that she is okay and stuff.
Am I missing good... Oh, Annie, her son is trans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, the son, like, he has so much sense. But Annie is just all over the shop. And you just think, how did this woman give birth to this son? That's how I feel about Finley. I'm like, how did this couple give birth to this son? This guy seems to have so much sense, He's so sensible.
He's going to grow to fucking hate his parents.
Yeah, 100%, if he doesn't already. So he decides he wants to go to school. All his friends are there. And another thing, how are they even socialising? They're just, I guess because there's 7 of them, maybe they're all friends with each other, but It's so crazy.
But that's why I say it's like a cult. And it's like the dad wants to build a cult because he doesn't, like, he's just so against everything. And I guess we'll get into how against he is his kid, if his kid going to school, whatever. But, like, the whole thing is, this is such a cultish vibe because they're not interacting with other people.
Anyone
Their whole
else.
lives are just
There's
within
so many
the 9 of them. Like, it's very weird.
And also the othering of other people.
Yeah.
It's like, we're right, they're wrong, us against them, us against them. Even they have one little son who's just so cheeky. It's just like, he is his dad. That little kid, that one is his dad. It's it's a crying shame. So Finley likes school. He likes schoolwork. He wants to go to school. All his friends are there. He thinks rules are important. And he starts school in a few weeks' time. He's doing like a trial. And Lewis, the dad, doesn't like this, right? Again, like Foren said, we'll get into this more later. Sky is Finley's older sister and she wants to go to school too. She's like, right, let's do this trial thing and see how it goes. The siblings are all upset, like, oh, I don't want you to go, blah, 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 which is like, okay, grow up. So now we're back with Jenna and Archie. Archie is the 13-year-old boy. And we meet his granddad, Mick, who again has sense. And so granddad Mick is literally saving Archie's life and Archie doesn't even realise it.
Sorry, I forgot to say that, like, after, when Finley says he wants to go to school and all of that stuff, it shows them at 11:30 and the kids wake up in the morning at 11:30, okay, on school day.
But then it's like, do the parents have jobs? Oh, I guess the mum works from home, innit?
And they're squirting cream into their mouths.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that. Cream.
Yeah, that happened. Yeah, that happened. Yeah. Yeah, that happened. So yeah, Archie's granddad, Mick, who, whether he realises it or not, Archie, like, Mick is saving your life. He's basically trying to pay for Archie to have a private tutor, which makes me think that, like, is the mum homeschooling him or not? Because what's going on here?
But we're aware that she's not at this point. She's just letting them do what they want.
I mean, yeah, Archie feels like, this bit is so funny, yeah. Because Archie feels like he doesn't need to go to a tutor. Like, he does fun stuff like spray painting a caravan. Like, their mum got them a caravan, which is like their little playhouse or whatever. And so as he's telling us he doesn't need to learn how to read and write, he's spray painting the caravan and he's trying to spell club and he spells it wrong. So he spells the C and then he puts a U and he's like, oh no, I put the C and then a U, and not the L. And it's like, okay, so can we all agree then that these lessons are very necessary?
A basic word like club at 13 you cannot spell.
And it's probably only because his granddad Mick paid for some lessons that he even realised that he was spelling it wrong.
Bam.
It's like,
and this is the thing, is your problem that you don't, because this is very scary to me. Like, when I was younger, obviously I hated school and all that, and your parents pushing for education. But now, obviously, my dreams are bigger than working 9 to 5. But I very much can recognise that the 9 to 5 even affords me the ability to dream. So this is really scary because it's one thing to say, okay, your kid struggles in school, so you don't want them in a school environment. But the dad is now coming, or the grandpa's now coming and saying, I will give them private lessons. Like, I'll pay for it. You don't even have to pay. And you're still against it. So it's actually that
all you have to do is go.
It's actually that you want to rob your kid the chance to have an education. And this is the way I feel about certain things, yeah. There are things in this world that I agree that maybe could be done differently, yeah. And we can fight that good fight. And I'm not talking about things like racism, homophobia, transphobia, or bigotry. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about, like, maybe some institutional things. Like, okay, like, maybe the school system could be better. Maybe, like, there is a lot of pressure put on kids. I even agree that there is. Like, why are you picking what, like you want to study at uni at 18 that's going to build, like, basically decide the trajectory of your life? It's intense. Maybe, like, we could make the curriculum a bit more diverse so it's not just books and learning nonsense things, yeah. But the reality of the situation is these are the things universally that are used to, like, I guess, judge, for lack of a better word, people. So you're now robbing your child of the opportunity to be a functioning member of society because the gradings and the parameters and things like that in society that are used to give people jobs, status, all of that, they don't have access to. And they didn't make that decision for themselves. You made that decision. It's a different thing if you send your child to school and they decide to be useless in the school. But you literally said to them, no, you're not going to go. And then what happens when they grow older and they need to function in society?
And this is the thing, is that, like, so you said, okay, school is not the place for you. You don't have to go. And then you didn't provide an alternative. Like, you could have said, okay, cool, granddad's going to pay for private lessons. Either we go to school, the conventional way or you do it this way. Instead, she got them a caravan and now he's
Even
painting,
if she
spray
put him in
painting.
intense music classes and he became a prodigy, then fine. But you literally did fuck all.
Even
like,
then, though, I'm sorry, like,
you still
to
need
be
an
able to read and
education.
write, how's he even going to, he can't even go on Twitter. He can't even understand memes on Twitter. So social media, you can't even do. You can't even be an influencer.
But the thing is just that, like, how can you... It's so frightening to me that you wake up in the morning without purpose. Like, what
No
is that
structure,
about?
nothing. Because the thing is that, like, as great as holidays are, yeah, it's so funny because I went to get my nails done yesterday, yeah, and I was talking to the guy who was doing my nails. He, like, owned the shop, yeah, and he was just talking about, like, guys' holidays versus girls' holidays. He's like, when he goes on holiday, like, his guys, they just want to sleep till 2:30 and then wake up, and then he's like, there's just nothing, there's just no plan. And I was like, even when we go on holiday, like, yeah, we want to chill and we want to have a good time. We have some level of structure, like, hey, maybe this day we'll do this.
No, but I
this
hate
day
those
we'll do this.
holidays.
This day,
You
no,
guys-
but all of our holidays have been like that.
Yeah, and
you hate them.
yeah,
So you want to just do nothing.
If I'm going on, my whole life at home is so structured. I woke up this morning at 6 o'clock, went to work, came back, recording, cook, eat.
Yeah, but the
do this,
holidays
do
are not
that.
like that.
Yeah, but there's still too much planning. I love, like, my best holidays are
So if you wanna book a table for someone, if you wanna book a thing, you just what?
go with the flow. I'm on holiday. That's why when you was like Dubai, like, I had fun in Dubai, but it was too much for me. Like,
Right, boy.
I very much like chilled holidays. I will love a few things that I want to do. Like, if I go to like Tulum, yeah, I want to explore like the caves and the ruins and stuff like that. That would be, but I'm not going to say, okay, on Tuesday I'm going to do it, so that after that I can go to dinner. Nah, because I'm going to come back feeling like I went to work. I don't like that kind of holiday. I do not agree.
Right.
I'm better suited for a lad's holiday, but if I'm on holiday, I want to live the life them lots are living. That's why I have a holiday. It's the opposite of the me at work.
So her dad Mick, Jenna's dad Mick, tells us that her and her dad, so Mick and Jenna fell out. They fell out. They stopped talking when she said that Archie wasn't going to school. Yeah. That's how they leave us with that family. So speaking of school, we're now back with Finley and his sister Sky, who are shopping for a school uniform for their trial, which is so interesting to me because you're buying school uniform for a trial. Do you know how expensive school uniform is? That you're going and then you just
for
decide
trial.
you don't want to go anymore.
Go in a PE kit or something.
Very
I'm not paying for
strange.
that.
But yeah, so the parents are really trying to put him off. Like, I rate Finley a lot in this moment because it's like he's being peer pressured by his parents and he's not succumbing to it, right? Because they're
Mainly
like,
the dad. You can even tell the dad is bad vibes, because even the day they're going to school, like, he won't. Like, she's basically not trying. Nah, this
he's terrible vibes. Like, they were like to him because he's trying on the blazer. Basically, like, oh, I like the way it looks. Maybe I can get one smaller. And he's like, oh, you know that at school you can't take the blazer off, even if you're hot. You can't take it off. If you want to go to the toilet, you have to ask. Like, there's no freedom. It's all restricted. That kind of stuff. And it's like, you want your kids to be independent and make their own decisions, but now they're making a decision you don't agree with. Now you want to come and try and change their minds. Is this not how you raised them? Do you not want him to make his own decision? It literally cult vibes. Like, you want him to literally just fall in line and agree with what it is that you want him to do, which is just like very strange vibes. So we see a chat between, this bit is so weird. There's this Rawnsley kid, so the 7 kids, and there's these neighbour kids, 3 girls, and they're talking about the rules that they have. And that little boy, the Rawnsley kid, the one that I said is like his dad, the cheeky one, yeah, he's basically parroting what he probably has heard his parents say, his dad, about other families. And he's like,
most of the time, most parents, the reason they send them to school is just because they can't be bothered taking care of them. But with our family, it's that we get to choose if we want to go to school or not. So it's different.
And it's like, what has one got to do with the other? Like, you literally are going to school to learn. What was I going to do?
If anything, it's more inconvenient your kid going to school, because you then need to be back from work or have someone there to pick them up and be back at a certain time.
Especially in this day and age when you just work from home.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
it's so crazy. It's like your parents actually are not taking care of you because they are not giving you the tools to live in the world.
And this is why I say that these parents are insincere in their intentions, because it's one thing to tell them, listen, we're taking you out of school because we don't really buy into the schooling system. We understand why other parents send their kids to school, you know, there are pros and cons, but we just think this is a better option. But you're actively slandering like other parents.
Yeah, exactly.
So that your kids further buy into your ideology. So even in short, those parents that you see send their kids to school, you're the like opposite of them in sense that you're not even giving your kids the chance to pick what they want. So this autonomy you keep talking about,
Exactly.
you're not giving it to them because you've brainwashed them.
Exactly. So now we're in Hull again. That's north of England, with Vicky and Mike and their 3 kids. They have a 7-year-old, and they took the 7-year-old out of school because she was upset. And Vicky, the mum, says,
"You know what? I don't care if she never learns to read and write as long as she's happy."
And now, how long will she be happy when she's the only one that cannot read nor can she write?
When boys are moving to her, she can't even read what they're sending in the messages.
She can't even give them her number. What is the meaning of that?
Oh my God.
Happiness? What has happiness got to do with any of that? Like, you're 7. I'm so sorry, yeah. It's important for your children to be happy, I understand, but they're not going to be happy all the time. No one was happy to go to school. No one is happy going to the dentist. Do you know what I mean? No one's happy eating vegetables.
Nobody's
but you have
happy
to do those things.
Going to work, but you're happy when the fruits of that labour mean you can do certain things you want to do.
And it's like, do I remember school? No. And again, if your child doesn't like school because they're being bullied, if they don't like school because they're being teased, if they don't like school because they don't get along with the teachers or whatever, that is valid and cool. Move them to somewhere else. Right? You can't just say, I don't like school, so I'm just not going to say... No one likes school. Who likes school? Besides Finley. Who likes school? No one. Nobody. So they addressed the idea of whether deregistering your kids in school or from school is legal in the UK. And it's not illegal, right? You just have to give them an adequate education, which means what? Nothing, okay? That's open to interpretation. I don't know if there's further information on what constitutes an adequate education, but that's what you have to give them.
And should make it illegal.
They should. And in this Vicky and Mike situation, you can tell that Vicky is a driving force behind this decision, because Mike is ex-military. Mike believes in structure. Mike believes in rules. Mike even says, like, you know, it was Vicky's idea. I wasn't really down with it at first, but now I kind of am. And I'm like, no, you're not, man. You're really not.
You just love your wife.
So we're back with Finley and Sky, and they're going to school.
But wait, can we talk about the reason Vicky deregistered her kids? Because I'm sorry,
go ahead.
a very... Okay. So Vicky tells this story about... They have 3 kids? Or is it...
Yeah, they have 3. Yeah, 3.
They had a lot of miscarriages trying to have that 3rd one. I think she said 4. And then she says after they have the daughter, they feel like she's just this blessing and everything, as you should. And then she says she wakes up and she starts to realise that life is so short. Like, nobody wants to spend all their time going out and about, working hard. And then after that, that's all, you've just worked hard. That life is really just about spending time together and being a family and doing the things you want to do. And so, like, she makes that decision to pull her daughter from school. And she says that when that day she decided to send that letter in, they came back and just sat on the couch and watched TV. And this is what I mean about these decisions some of these parents make are very them-centered. Because at this time, what this woman probably needed was, like, some therapy. So it's very traumatic to go through 4 miscarriages. I feel like therapy would have gone a long way. And understanding that, like, you do... valuing family works. Like, maybe she could have gone part-time.
It's very important.
And spending time with her, more time with her kids and stuff like that. But then instead you've gone all, and this is just a reaction, like you've gone all the other way and you've deregistered your kids so you can spend time like in this cult-like environment where all of you just stay together. And then and what's next? Meanwhile, the husband is still working, so you understand the value of the money. It's not that you don't understand the need for these things. So what are you chatting about?
This is the thing. I understand that there's more to life, but for there to be more to life, there has to be the base life. There's the base that you need to do for there to be more. Do you get what I mean? It's like...
And you have to fund that more to life.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how are you going to, like, and then also, again, even if for you, you're a housewife, your husband's bringing home the bacon, fine, but you're looking at your child as a child. That child, God willing, is going to grow to become an adult, to become a mother, a father, whatever they want to be in life, And you are not adequately equipping them for that. It's so selfish. You want them to just depend on you forever. If you were to pass away tomorrow, if you were to pass away in 20 years' time, how is that child going to be okay? Because they can't just come home and watch TV with you. What are they going to do? Wild. So Philly and Sky, they go for their school trial. And it's at this point that I clocked that Sky has a nose piercing, Gemma removes the nose piercing before she goes in. And I'm just like, that thing is going to have closed by the time they take the register that morning. Like, literally, I was like, rah, what? No retainer, nothing. Anyway, I'm sure they'll pierce it again for her.
And the way she did it as well, it was kind of like, see, you can't have this
Yeah,
when you go
exactly.
to school.
She was like, see, you can't have this when you go to school. And it's like, you are 12 years old, 13 years old, bro. Like,
you shouldn't be having it anyways.
Matting, crazy.
But also, can I just say, Gemma has a very nice body for a woman who's had 7 kids.
Yeah.
I'm even wondering if they robbed those 7 kids.
I don't dislike Gemma. I feel like Gemma she's airy-fairy in her own little way.
Yeah.
But she's not as extreme as Lewis. I reckon if she had a different partner...
Yeah, she wouldn't be this way inclined.
Yeah, she wouldn't be this way. I feel like she probably would still let her kid like shave her head and stuff like that. But I feel like she would understand, like, right, cool, yeah, go to school or whatever, but you can shave your... She would be like the cool mom.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like her kids would be those, I don't know if weird, but those kids that were allowed to do a lot back in school, and you're like, whoa.
Like they come in with pink hair and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
yeah. And this is the thing,
still going
in the grand scheme of things, you having pink hair, how does that affect your education? It doesn't. Do you know what I mean? I feel like she would just be that kid in school who did what she wants, wore what she wants. Her mum comes to pick her up. She can swear in front of her mum, all that kind of stuff. That kind of child. But it's like she would still have her education. I feel like Lewis is like headstrong on the whole no school, no outsiders, them versus us, blah, blah, blah. And she's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like she could be swayed either way, I reckon. I feel like Lewis is really the driving force in that situation. So there's a scene with Vicky and Mike. Remember, Vicky is the one who said she just wants her daughters to be happy. She doesn't care if they can read or write. And Mike is the ex-military guy. So they go and see their friends, John and his wife. Sorry, I don't know what the wife's name is. But he's also ex-military. And he doesn't understand this no rules parenting. And John asked legit questions that we've already discussed. So how do they learn boundaries in a social or work situation? It's like... literally what we've said, you're not raising your children in isolation. I mean, Lewis thinks that he is because he's trying to do up cult vibes, but like they literally are a part of society. They're going to have to be able to adapt. They're going to have to be able to comply. They're going to have to be able to compromise. Like it's just, even to learn how to drive, there are rules. You cannot go if the light is red. You can't just go. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If there's a zebra crossing, cool, you don't want to, but you have to stop because people are crossing the roads. Do you get what I mean? It's like there's rules in everything, even
good thing is all of these kids are failing their driving test.
Yeah, fam. Can they even read the road signs to where they need to go?
Yeah.
Like, literally little things. Even medication. It will say, cool, make sure you take every 4 to 6 hours. They can't even read that. Now you're back in ibuprofen. Now you're in hospital. Like, I just feel like...
now you're dead.
Now you're dead. Like, even Netflix, you cannot even pick what title it is you want to watch.
Now you're watching hentai because you didn't know that was...
Because you didn't know.
Like, the anime porn.
You didn't know.
There you are.
You didn't know. Like, how did we get here? I know how we got here. Yeah, it was Lewis. It was all Lewis.
It was all Lewis. All Lewis.
So, Grandad Mick gets Archie these English lessons, yeah. Ugh, what a sorry sight. This nigga can't read for shit. This nigga can't read, nor can he write. Like, it literally...
And where for the where? Can't read.
Literally, he's just guessing. He's just guessing.
Vibes.
One word is right. Then he says the next word is wrong. It's not wrong. It's like ring or something. I said, Lord
I've never seen someone using vibes to read. This guy was vibing. He was just vibes.
Just
vibes.
I was like,
in the
my
shit
nigga,
trim.
You are 13, maybe 14 at this point, yeah?
You can't read.
Sir, you can't read. Are you not embarrassed? I'm sorry.
My mum would be like, even come. You can't say in English. That's how she'd say it. This guy cannot read.
And the thing is that, like,
and you people are doing bozo. This is your language. You still can't.
This is your language.
Us immigrants are now the ones that are reading and writing for you.
When somebody comes with an accent, yeah, now all of a sudden you don't understand. You yourself, you English descendant of the Queen. Can you read? Can you write?
I'm Igbo. This is not my mother tongue. This is your mother tongue. You cannot read. You cannot write.
You want me to go back to my country? Can you write me a letter? Tell me to go.
Exactly. Deport me. Dial the numbers.
Yeah. He said deport. DEP. Nah, it's ridiculous. Like, and the thing is, like,
and the audacity is that these are the people that will be telling you to like go back to your country. That's the funny thing.
That's the funny thing.
And you're just looking at them, and you're like, "Are you like you're fucking kidding me? You must be having a laugh." It's these exact kind of people.
There's some patients that I see, yeah. And they think that they are like, they come with such strange energy. That's the one that I really pull out the English for, yeah?
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, oh, is it? You're chatting to me like I'm a little man, yeah? Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not from here, yeah?
Now
it's
you're
always the
gonna
ones that
know.
start with, oh, where are you from? Where's your name from? Where are you really from? I said, okay, well, we're all speaking English here, yeah? If you want to speak English, let's speak English then.
Let's go.
Let's go. Oh, yeah.
You want to bam bam.
Fam, literally. Archie, man. It's so peak. And the thing is, that's going to be an insecurity, yeah? That's going to manifest itself in however many different ways for him, which is really sad for him because it's not his fault, right? And it's like, yes, he's 13. You think maybe he's old enough to like make the decision to want to learn and stuff. Not everyone can be Finley. Do you know what I mean? Like he was done a disservice by his mum and his dad because he's not really around, it seems. But he literally was done a disservice.
Family. Leave that guy out,
and they're
this
reading.
family was a massive oops. It's like
Yeah.
one regret he'll have on his deathbed. I promise you.
It's so sad, and honestly, thank God for Mick, because Mick is like to the teacher, okay, so if he continues at this rate for the next year, would he be on par with his peers, blah blah blah? And she's like, yeah, if he continues. And I'm like, my nigga couldn't even say was, he said has.
If he continues next year, he'll be lower set for a year 5 class. That's where he's gonna be at.
It's so sad. It's so, because like all you have to do is keep him in school.
He's probably the definition of illiterate. Like that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, technically, yeah.
Yeah.
His reading age, he's, I don't know, maybe like reception. Because there was, and he said has, or something like that. It was a 3-letter word. And I was like, oh my days, this is actually a dire situation. Like, it's not even funny. I know we've laughed and we've joked, yeah, but it's not funny. We just have to shame him sometimes. So Jenna, again, Archie's mum. Oh, no, before Jenna, Gemma. Oh, God, these names. Gemma is back. Gemma is the one with Finley's mum, Lewis's girl. Yeah, cool. So she's actually taught them how to read and write. Like, they like to cook and stuff, and she makes them read the recipes. So at least for them, they are still young. They're reading better than Archie.
There's just so many kids in such a small space.
Yeah,
that place looks like a.
There's so many.
And the thing is that with
children.
that many kids, you just can't have nice things. Like the house look like so disheveled.
Yeah, but then do they? That might be their nice.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, no.
For yourself.
There was a bit where when they were getting ready for school, did you see that random door that was just there? Like, not like it wasn't a door on a hinge. It was just a door in the hallway that had obviously broken off, and it was just there. Then there was a curtain dividing a room. And again, like, I understand that, like, not everybody has the money, but it's not even about money here. It's about there's just too many kids. So what's the point of fixing it? Because they're going to break it again.
Yeah, and they're so young. They're all so young.
And there's drawing on the wall, and then I don't know, like.
But then also there's no rules. There's actually also no rules. Like there could be a family with rules with 7 kids, yeah, and it doesn't look like this because
Like
there's
they could put
structure
shit
and
on
there's
the
order.
wall in that house. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's
Oh
wild.
my God.
Yeah, it's actually wild.
Like, I want the kind of home that when you walk in, you don't even know that I have kids. That's actually the kind of home I want. Like, I'm going to contain my kids to one room. I'm going to get that paint where you can draw on the walls and stuff.
Oh my God,
they can draw to Kingdom Come, and they have to wipe it off every day so they can learn a few lessons. And maybe tomorrow they'll know not to draw on the walls because they can't bother to wipe it off. But when you walk into my home, you will not know that I have children. That is
No
the
toys
kind of
on
shit.
the floor, no.
Oh my God, yeah.
No height marks of all the growth, no.
Oh my
Your house
God,
is going to be white and it's going to have glass tables with sharp edges everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like,
And
if you
then-
like, hit your head.
If you literally, even my sister was saying it to me the other day, I don't know what she was complaining about. I was like, listen, so in the grand scheme of things, is this really what we're going to talk about now? She's like, I feel so sorry for your kids. You're just going to be such a fam. That's going
You
to be
say this, but I don't think you will be.
when that
The way
toddler's
that you
walking
talk
around,
about-
listen,
the way
no,
that you
this
talk
table
about
is
your
glass.
kids.
If you like, hit your head.
I had this table longer than you.
Come home. Or...
If these bags, I mean, listen, if you like, ruin this bag. I've had this bag longer than you.
Fam.
Where do you think my loyalty lies?
If you're falling, don't damage my furniture as you're falling. Fall and get up, but don't damage my furniture. That's my vibe. Like,
That's
bro.
so funny. No, I feel like you're not gonna. I feel like you're gonna be so soft. I feel like anything they want, you're gonna give them. You're gonna be. This girl has been saying, "Oh, I have dreams. In my dreams, I just love my kids so much, and I wake
Yeah,
up
I'ma love them
and my
to
heart
death.
is so."
I'm gonna love them to death, but I'm still gonna have nice things in my home. So, boy, I'm
It's
gonna
okay,
love them to death from
I'll
their
get you them
playroom.
baby bump. I'll get you them baby bumper, the baby bumper things.
Literally, my kid will just live in them. They'll just never learn to walk because I won't take them out because they can be contained in that thing.
The little bubbles. So Jenna, Archie's mum, has decided. So she takes him out of school because he doesn't like it. Mick puts him into private tuition, yeah, and she doesn't like it. Jenna now decides she wants to go on a family trip around Europe, which obviously is going to mean he cannot go to his lessons. Also, when she's talking about this trip to Europe, she talks about, oh yeah, I'm going to go around the UK, Wales. I said, okay, anywhere else?
So
and then
I was
eventually,
going to say that because I was waiting for her to say at least like Paris.
eventually,
Spain.
I think she said Italy, Spain. But at first she was like, oh, around the UK, then Wales. Then I said, babes, you said Europe. Are we even Europe anymore?
But she's
bruv?
obviously probably illiterate herself. So there we go.
Yeah, she probably is.
And that's why I
the
said
thing is,
these
it's so
10 people.
sad. But this is the thing. There's a certain privilege that you have to make such dumb decisions. Like, you have the privilege of knowing that like you're going to be okay regardless. Granddad Mick, is he gonna let Jenna suffer? No, it's not Jenna that's forking out the money for Archie's lessons. It's Mick. Mick is the one who's looking out for him. Jenna has the privilege of being so deluded in her own little fairy world, and it's like someone has still come to save the day and fix it for Archie, even though she doesn't see it that way.
Yeah.
And like, you're literally sabotaging your child. Now that he's finally getting these lessons, if he keeps them up for a year, he might finally be able to read like someone who's in year 6, yeah? And you're taking that away from him and saying, let's travel around Europe. Let's travel around the UK. What is there in Hull? What is there in fucking Southampton or Portsmouth or Brighton or Bristol or fucking Cardiff that you're going to see that is more important than your child being able to read and write? What? What is it?
It's a crying
Is it the pasta in Italy that you want to risk it all for? What is it? The bread in France? What is it?
It's all just a crying shame. That's what it is.
I just think, like, like... And does Archie even have friends? Mick is like, fam, he's 13 years old. He hasn't even got 13 friends. Like, Mick is like, you should be out on the town getting in trouble.
He's either going to be one of those really, like, troublesome kids, like, when he grows up. You know those kids at 16 that are, like, delinquents?
Like
or
Asperger's.
he's just going to be, like, a weirdo that just sits at home.
I think he's going to be a recluse. And this is possibly how, and obviously, Archie, I don't pray this for you, but blame your mum, yeah? Is that, like, he's going to be so insecure about certain things. He's not going to be able to read properly, right? Someone's going to send him, can he even set up an Instagram account? If people are trying to send him memes and stuff, he's not going to be able to see it. He's not going to be able to relate. That's very isolating. Not being able to read and write, yeah, is very isolating. Like, even if you don't want to work, even if he wins the lottery and he doesn't have to worry about money, socially, how are you going to... Whatever, you're watching a show, you can't read subtitles. Do you know what I mean? You're trying to ask for directions. Oh, follow the sign. You'll see a sign that says, you don't know what the sign says. You want to book a ticket to go somewhere.
Yeah.
You cannot read the thing.
All these kids are going to resent their parents. The only ones that might not are the ones that have 7 kids, because they just seem they'll all live in a commune together.
Yeah, and also it's like, if that's the norm around you, then that's all you know. It's normal to you. Everyone else seems weird. And Lewis seems to have done a very good job in Us Against Them, except for Finlay. I don't know where Finlay got his exposure, but that one's the only one that has small sense.
Yeah.
So speaking of Finlay, he enjoys school and he's so cute to me. Like, he proper is like, yeah, he had a good time at school, right? Right, remember that. So now
there's a 60% chance he'll
he's a
go
60%
full-time.
chance, exactly, 60% chance of him going back, 40% chance of not. And it's like, based on what? Like, you literally only said positive things, but we'll get back to him. We're back to Vicky and Mike now. We're getting to the end of the documentary, and like, the daughter wants to dye her hair purple. And Vicky's like, yeah, cool, we'll dye it purple. So she dyes her daughter's hair purple. This, to me, is the least offensive thing that has happened. Like, if a daughter wants her hair to be purple, fine. Let her just go to school with purple hair.
No, but Vicky says she took her daughter out of school to give her more opportunities.
This is the opportunities.
Opportunities for what? To be on benefits? Or, like, what is the opportunity, like, that you're giving her? Like,
so
nothing
crazy.
wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with being the benefits, but you're not even giving her the opportunity to make, like, do anything other than to sit at home and then be on benefits, because she literally could not work because she just can't.
As
not
in,
even because
she's not injured, she's not ill, she's not been made redundant.
She's not even that she's working a job, and like, obviously, because this country is fucking unnecessarily expensive, it's not adding up. You just gave her that's the only opportunity, the only option she's gonna have. She said, oh, like, people from here don't travel, they just stay here. But where's the money that she's gonna use to
when she said that she doesn't travel, I was like, and so what is going to take her out of this country? What will be the thing?
It's not going to be work.
What, like, it's like, I don't understand that, like, you literally are setting your children up to fail and letting them believe that it's because you love them and you're doing the best thing and everyone else is wrong. What? Literally, when you said, yeah, those children are going to grow up to resent their parents, 100%. 100%. And if they don't, then it's like, cool. Then you're just, I guess, happy with the situation that you're in.
I can't imagine how much I would have resented my parents if they hadn't pushed me. Like, because I personally think I have, like, dyslexia or something. And I struggled a lot with school. But I still got decent grades, and then I like graduated and I got a job and stuff like that. But I always knew I wasn't an academic. Like my dad kept pushing me to do a master's. Like, I'm not gonna do this because I struggled enough.
This, actually.
Huh?
I said I remember this.
And I knew within myself that there was no way I was going back
me.
to school. I was much better within the workforce than I would have been at school. But I still thank them every day that I went to school, because without this education, I don't know where I would be right now. Like, and this is the thing, like, fam, these kids are going to resent them. You're going to see people doing stuff with money, getting married, settling down, buying a house. Like, even not having, my mum always used to say this to me, like, not having an education even caps like the kind of partner you can have. Like, okay, I think things have changed a bit now in the sense that, like, it's not just the doctors and the lawyers that are the high earners in society.
Yeah.
Like, there are other, like, careers and stuff like that. But there's so many factors. And the reality of the situation is that still a lot of the top earners are people who have studied, like, very professional jobs. Like, the world hasn't changed that much where, like, okay, all these other careers have completely taken over.
But even so, yeah, even if you're an influencer or you're an editor or you work in whatever, yeah, like, you require the ability to read and write. Do you know what I mean? At a very basic level, like, and also it's a lot of like communication and like, you know, deals and like there's so many things to it. Like, you need to be able to communicate. And also
somebody was even tweeting about how women need to stop romanticizing the idea of like marrying rich and stuff like that, because a lot of these men that actually have money marry within their social like circle. Like the story of the rich guy that marries the broke girl that he saw working at the shop is far and few in between. But like obviously, like, social media will push that narrative for you because it's a romantic story to sell women. And it's the same the other way. Like, a woman who has money will look within her social circle to date. So like, even if you don't want to be a professional whatever, you don't have the basic skills, your earning capacity is capped. So again, you're limiting like the people who you're gonna be around. And this is what I mean by money begets money, because there's no way you're gonna then elevate yourself to be with somebody who is of a certain level to the infam. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it goes on and on and on. And then you've just created a cycle of like potential poverty for like future generations because you made a stupid decision like this.
And I just feel like there's a massive difference between taking your kid out of school when they're 7 because they're sad and being like, okay, cool, you don't want to go to uni. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you get to 18, yeah, you've done your GCSEs, or even if you didn't do the A-levels, so you get to 16, yeah, and you've done your GCSEs and you're like, all right, cool, I don't want to work, or I want to do an apprenticeship, or I want to go to uni. Like, at least you have the skills. If you like work in Topshop for the rest of your life, you can become a manager. You can build your way up.
Yeah.
Like, there is a career path for you there. Do you get what I mean? Like, you start there at 16. By the time you're 25, whatever, you're high up there. Do you know what I mean? You're earning money straight from school. Fine, no one's saying there's one way to do life, but like, give your kids the best chance. My God, like, I let them decide. Do you know what I mean? Like,
this is a travesty. This is egregious.
It really is. So we're at the end now, and we find out that Finley and Sky have both decided not to go to school. He says that he likes learning, but he feels like a lot of stuff there is pointless, and he felt restricted. And I understand a lot of stuff is pointless in school, but then also a lot of stuff in life is pointless. But what you do, you get on with it, and you keep it pushing.
Yeah, and also this
he has so much
definitely
potential,
came,
man.
Literally, and I feel like a lot of this came from his dad. Yeah, like 100%. He probably complained about one thing, his dad hyped it and made it into a bigger thing. Told him about all the stuff he'd be missing out if he went to school. And Lewis obviously was very happy with Finley's decision because he was just like, yeah, like, I'd rather them all be here and we can teach them in our own way rather than send. Yeah, he can fuck off. Yeah. Lewis is a fucking weirdo. He can fuck off.
And the thing is, Finley has so much potential. He's so articulate. He's so intelligent. And it's like, this guy could have been anything. He could be still anything he wanted to be. I just feel like his dad, like, you're going home. Imagine him going to school every day, coming home. His dad's going to just chat shit. It's like, is it worth it? This guy's going to chat shit every single day. Like, is it worth it?
It's no surprise that he made this decision.
At my graduation. Literally, there's no surprise. There's no surprise.
Yeah, because there's no way he was going to go the other way with this amount of peer pressure. And it's a shame. In conclusion, all these parents are shit. I'm sorry, they're shit. And 100%. The kids are going to resent them.
And the thing is that they think that they're not. And it's like, just being a parent isn't about huggy, cuddy, la, 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 la.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes
it's
you have
making
to
those tough decisions.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not even a tough decision to send your child to school. Bro, the tough decision is which school to send them to. Not am I going to send them. Anyway, that's basically the end of the documentary. I did not think this episode was going to be this long, but sometimes you have a lot of shit to chat when people do stupid things. So now it's time for...
The real crime, I think, was the beard.
Our segment where we focus on something during the documentary that may not be criminal, but we definitely consider to be a crime. Have you got one?
Oh, yes, having 7 kids.
Yes.
That was mine. It's having 7 kids. Of all the things I saw that were terrible in this documentary, it's definitely the having 7 kids. I'd say it was Archie's haircut. It was giving I have mixed race kids. I don't know why he had the haircut, but I think that's all again back to him not having friends. But definitely the having 7 kids.
There's having 7 kids, yeah.
You can't. There's nothing you can do with 7 kids. We're past the days where you're like farming and you need more
like,
farm hands,
what do you need them more for?
Or you need to eat one of the kids because there's a depression. Like, what are you do? Like, I really need somebody to write a thesis of what you do with more than 2 kids, because until I can fully understand what you're doing with more than 2 kids, I can't wrap my head around this. And this goes for my family too. I'm not saying that Chimere, the last one, is the one to go. Even me, I could be the one to go. It could be Chaz. But what did you need 3 kids for? That's what I really need to understand. I don't understand. Like, that's 7 ways that they're splitting what little inheritance their parents are going to leave for them. That's 7. Fam, no.
That's wild.
Even if you're a millionaire, you can't accommodate. No, I'm sorry. I could go.
It's just a lot.
I could write a 50-page thesis on why you do not need 7 kids in this here London, England, fam. So
there's nowhere on earth that they.
That is a crime of all crimes, of all the crimes we've ever in.
I'm gonna agree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna say that is the real crime here, is that they had 7 children and continue to have. Do you even know if they have any more?
Because that last one was kind of young. But this is why I say to you, they're just building a cult. They give me of all the parents, I think they're the weirdest, because
I think Lewis is the driving force of the weird, but then also because Gemma is because Gemma is, but then also maybe she's the first member of said cult.
Yeah. So what are we doing next? We're doing
the Cleveland kidnappings.
We've
done a Cleveland one before, haven't we? It was the Cleveland Strangler that we did. Wow, what's going on in
told
Cleveland,
you people, Ohio is the arsehole of...
What is going on?
Well, actually, no. That's Florida.
Yeah, Florida is wild.
Florida is the arsehole. But Cleveland is like,
Ohio's the armpit.
No, like you've got your arsehole, then you've got the bit above your arsehole. Not near the vagina, because that's pleasure. The other way around, like just above.
Oh, that could have slit.
Yeah, that little slit where
your thong goes.
Yeah, that is Cleveland. That's Cleveland. Okay. Yeah.
So just nondescript.
Perineum and all them man is like
Pleasure
that's
Island.
That's Pleasure Island. That's that's
New York. That's LA.
Literally New York and LA. That's up there. Okay. Behind is like Cleveland, Ohio, fucking Florida. Yeah, not one good thing has ever come out of Florida in the history of like Florida.
Even the Real Housewives of Miami is shit.
I be telling you people, there's nothing good that I keep telling you. When I say people say I'm saying,
oh, I know a good thing has come out of Florida.
What?
City girls.
Squirm. No.
Swipe them visas.
I'm sorry, guys. Not one good thing. I still stand by what I have to say.
Okay.
Come for me if you like. If you're from like Florida, that's cool. Not one good thing.
All right, well.
But yeah.
That's it. In the meantime, between time, you can catch us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube at 2girls1doc. You can email us reviews at 2girls1doc@gmail.com. Oh, I didn't say what I was drinking today, and that's because I was drinking Lemsip. Because I'm trying not to be
you got that thing wrapped around your throat. Are you sick?
Yeah, no, I'm not sick in Jesus' name. I'm trying not to be sick. I got plans, B. I'm trying to counteract this cold before it becomes one. Sometimes you got to get it before it has a chance to white blood cells attack, But yeah, all right, guys. We out.
All right, then. Toodles.
Amanda disappeared on her way home after leaving her job at Burger King on West 110th and Lorraine, a day before her 17th birthday.
I just need to know. It's killing me. I need to find out what happened with my daughter.
That story, sure, it was probably the most important story of my whole career. Welcome back, everyone. Cleveland police are asking for your help tonight to find a missing 14-year-old girl. Her name is Georgina De Jesus. She's been missing since after school yesterday.
I wanted to know what kind of evil would do something like this. Can I tell this story? I don't think I should.
Cleveland police detectives and now 15 FBI agents aggressively working this mysterious disappearance.
Amanda Berry vanished seemingly into thin air.
It's a life and death thing.
Whoever you got them, let these two children go home.
I had no idea that evil could be so close.
Nobody ever deserves to go through something like what we went through, ever.